Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about something that is actually something that I deal with all of the time, and it's really using my voice and holding people accountable for maybe where they were not speaking to you right, or something went wrong, or just a situation that you didn't love how it worked out. And I'm going to read you a quote from this book, Brene Brown, The Gifts of Imperfection. I love this book right now. I just think she's such an interesting person. And she just studies amazing life things like compassion and shame and guilt and so many other things that I think are important for everybody to know and learn. So it says, when we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable, we feel used and mistreated. This is why we sometimes attack who they are, which is far more hurtful than addressing a behavior or a choice. So what does that mean? For me, when I was reading it, it just kind of hit me immediately because I thought, wow, it's incredible how instead of facing that person or telling them how he felt or creating any sort of conflict, we avoid, end up talking to everybody else except them and trying to fix it and really holding on to resentment and just digging into that person, trying to find any flaws to make them a bad person so that we feel okay about blaming them for something. Usually the root of this, especially in my case, is that I did not stand up for myself, or I did not say how something made me feel, or I did not hold someone accountable for saying something that was not right or what I felt was not right. So basically it was me not communicating my feelings, holding someone accountable, or really standing up for myself. So this is huge for people who are in the workplace, for employees and bosses. So if you want your employees to act a different way, it's important that you say that and say what went right or say what went wrong and why, and not shame or blame that person, but instead talk about what happened as being something that you didn't like, instead of you're not acting like I like. So really separating the incident from the person, like you're bad at this, or this was just a bad thing that happened. So not making that person be bad or feel bad, because if you want to maintain a really great and healthy relationship, you need to make sure that you are constantly communicating, communicating your feelings and trying to help somebody and create a better situation. So, I always think if you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. So it's huge that we are standing up for ourselves and saying what we need, because even in our relationships, this is massive. We're never, ever communicating. So what happens is we're never communicating to the person that needs to hear it most. And that's directly to the person who said it or who the event is happening between. Because what we end up doing is talking to everybody else, putting our own spin on it, getting other people's spin on it, and then creating this story that sometimes just builds and builds and builds and mounts, and it just turns into this massive eruption of feelings that ends up happening that sometimes is really hard to clean up. So from the beginning, if we can start confronting that person, confronting our issues, this is going to save a lot of heartbreak. It's going to save a lot of time. And for really successful business people, this is huge. There is a way to be stern. There's a way to be firm, especially even in parenting. There's a way to do all of those things in relationships, in basically everything, that you can be stern and firm and loving. Because to be honest with you, when we avoid conflict, it's not the most loving route. It might feel like the most loving route, but what happens is you end up getting really hurt or hurting the other person because you're holding on to things that aren't necessarily true. So the quicker that we can just face it, confront it, sit that person down, say, hey, this is really tough for me, but I want to acknowledge this because I want to really preserve this relationship and make it better. I just want to tell you what happened or how I feel. That is so vital in the preservation of ourselves and our relationship. So just, the person that you're talking to will probably really, really appreciate it, especially if you come from a place of love. And what I do before I have to confront somebody is I pray about it. I pray about it the night before. I think about it all day long. And, you know, instead of talking to other people about their opinions, maybe I'll get the trusted advice of one or two people who I can say, really look at this from the big picture, from the outside looking in. You know, what can I say? How can I save this? Where could I, you know, make this person try or understand where I'm coming from. And if it's something that's just going to be tough and maybe you're not going to be able to preserve a relationship, it's okay, because instead of dragging that dead horse behind you, sometimes you have to just be okay with it, forgive it, bless and release, and let it go. So confronting it though quicker is just going to leave more room for more awesomeness to come into your life, and you'll find that the more that you do this, the more it's just going to become old hat, and it, you know, of course things are still going to be hard, but it's going to be something that's second nature to you, and you'll have so much more flow in your life, and people will just know that this is who you are, and they'll respect you for being real and for being honest and authentic, because you'll always just speak from your heart. So I hope that you guys can use this bit of advice, because it is huge for me and I'm still practicing it every day. It's probably my number one toughest thing, is really speaking my voice, because I like to make people happy, and a lot of times confronting and moving through different issues is not a way to make people happy. But in the long run, it's the best way to deal with your problems and preserve and maintain relationships in your life. So I hope that this can help you, and I will talk to you all later. I would love to hear your feedback and comments. Mwah! Bye-bye.